Your signal's really bad today.
It's because we've got 3 children, 4 children, 5 children, me and my wife all using the internet.
Far too many children in the house, Kieran. That's the issue there.
I'm counting myself as a child.
Well, sensible. Yeah.
But I am for the basis of this, because I said 5 and then Zoe's just corrected me. We haven't got 5 children here, so I'm counting myself so that I'm right.
This is Sheer Isolation. It's presented by Kieran Moore in Trowbridge and Jon Ponting in Cricklade.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sheer Isolation. Thank you once again for joining us. It is show 50, show 50. We've been doing this for a year. I am still joined by Kieran Moore in Trowbridge. I am Jon Ponting in Cricklade. Hello, Kieran.
Hello, John.
I was expecting you to just explode in a 50th anniversary celebration then.
I'm glad you mentioned it. So let's talk about things that are 50. You did some research, didn't you, on people that are turning 50? And we've got your main man from Rammstein. He's turned 50. But Ewan McGregor's turned 50. You said he was looking handsome. I said he was looking haggard. He's lived a hard life, you know. He's been an actor. He's worked hard on lots of crazy films. You know, what do we expect? I don't know.
Has he had a hard life? I mean, Trainspotting wasn't real, Kieran.
Oh, was it not?
It was Shallow Grave. There's another reason to celebrate, not just because it's our 50th show, but also this is the week that beer gardens open.
It's really funny, right? So Wiltshire Council emailed round venues advice on what constitutes beer gardens and what constitutes indoor-outdoor. So there is a you can type in like your floor space and like your wall space and all the rest of it, and you can come up with this ratio. And if it's over a certain threshold, you're deemed indoors, which means you can't open. So your beer garden literally has to be almost completely exposed. So there is very tough, stringent guidelines out there for people to open. But nevertheless, you can open, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people looking forward to going back to the pub.
Well, one venue that definitely isn't open at the minute is Trowbridge Town Hall, but we've got a guest coming on from the Town Hall this week, who is Jess Bennett. Who is Jess Bennett? I've kind of already said who she is, but you probably know a bit better than me.
So Jess is the venue manager from Trowbridge Town Hall. She's this week's guest. I met Jess about 3 years ago when I first came to Trowbridge to do some music when my wife worked at the Town Hall. And Jess was like an intern there, I think. And then slowly, as the organisation has shifted and had various changes, she's kind of worked her way up the ladder, and she is now venue manager.
Wonderful. Well, it's time for a tune. But before we get on to the tune, I think we should just correct ourselves from last week, because we played Emily Barker. And
I said the song was called History.
It's called Machine, so we'll just correct that.
Machine. Right? I was thinking of time machines, you know, history, time machines.
Oh, you were close, yeah. I actually saw a video of Emily Barker and Frank Turner on Facebook this week. I don't know if it was a new one or if it was something they just done.
No, they've just done a brand new thing, a duets show of Frank and Emily, and they announced it along with merch that went along with it on April Fool's Day. And a lot of people were saying, is this real? But it was real, or at least the merch was real. I did find links and share them. So I thought that was quite brilliant timing.
So it is time for the first track of the show, and I haven't got a clue what you're going to play. You've kept it a surprise from me, which normally means you don't know yourself.
Well, you'd be completely fair conclusion to come to. However, I do know what we're playing. It's a young band from Bath called Young Martyrs. They dropped me a line out of the blue and said, "Hey, Kieran, we'd love to come play for you. Here's some links." And I picked out a track that was just recently been released. It's less than a month old. It had 117 views, so it's still fresh in the world. And it's a lockdown session of a track of theirs called Tell Her So.
Hey, you're a space as a gentleman I'd expect nothing less. And don't call her again. She wants more than I think you understand. I see the reasons it's hard to say no.
got quite a lot. It's got a real kind of folky, bluesy kind of vibe to it that, you know, when they go full electric live, it's going to be a force, something else, just be another level, you know. Everyone's still hankering down for acoustic stuff because it's really difficult to do live sessions that are full bands. It takes so much preparation. So yeah, it's still things are quite still minimalistic at the moment. I'll tell you one thing I am looking forward to when I go to watch the first proper loud live bands, and I get to have my face melted, and it's going to be brilliant. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be brilliant, whoever it is.
Hopefully that won't be too long away. Maybe only a couple of months at the most. 2 or 3 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, that track we played about 2 minutes ago, that was Tell Her So, Young Martyrs.
Yeah, it was very good as well.
Have we got product placement this week?
We do. Look, John. Right, this is.
I didn't see that there. It blended into the white background.
No, I have to shut that window. I think I've got too much light coming in. Anyway, Gender Roles on BSM, Big Scary Monsters. This is their new song, Dead or Alive, / So Useless, double A-side single. Remember Singles? Do you remember Singles, John?
I remember Singles, yeah.
Now, I bought this. It's the only place that you can only buy it here. It's the only place it's available. It is on the most gorgeous turquoise vinyl, coloured vinyl. However, when I put the light up to it or show anyone, and it's looking black right now, when I take a picture on my phone, it just looks blue. I cannot capture the beauty of this single. Just can't. And so basically, I'm going to have it out. Every time someone comes round, I'll be like, take a look at this record. Like Feeder or Ash, this generation's Feeder or Ash, that kind of vibe.
Sweet. Okay, then it is time for our guest of this week. As every week, we do invite somebody on from the local music scene to have a natter to us. We have got Jess Bennett this week from Trowbridge Town Hall, somebody you work quite closely with, Kieran.
So I've worked with, like I said, I've known Jess about 3 years, and she's always been there in various capacities and roles, and she's grown with the venue and worked her way up to being venue manager. So delighted to hear what she's about to say about the unlocking of the venue.
And it's not really just unlocking, it's a complete renovation of the town hall, isn't it?
You know what? You compare the venue as it is now today, where it was 3 years ago, it's just a complete fundamental change. Yeah, there's a bar in there, which they're a permanent bar and coffee shop and food offering, which wasn't there before. They now have a professional performance space, which wasn't there before. They've still got an art gallery that always was there, but yeah, it has significantly changed in the last 3 years. So it is a really interesting space.
It's a community space for everyone, really, and we're all about filling it with as much activity as we can. So I think you're particularly interested in the live music angle, which I am too, but everything from support groups to yoga classes to, we've got a free range cafe, an art and book shop, zero waste shop, so there's loads going on.
You say you're the venue manager. What does that actually mean?
It can be anything from scooping up some dead pigeons to, risk assessing and making it COVID secure and just sort of making sure everyone's experience with us is a good one.
That was the first thing that came to your mind about your job role, is scooping up pigeons.
Yeah, it's, I wouldn't say a highlight, but something that does stick in your mind. It's difficult to get an image out of your head.
I was driving home the other week, wasn't it? And you sent me a message saying, Kieran, I've got a pigeon stuck in our scaffolding. Can you come help us get it out?
Yeah, I thought, who do I know who might have a really big ladder? But,
unfortunately, I didn't have one. I'm not available anyway. Okay, cool, Jess. So obviously we know the venue has historically done loads of music. We've done loads before in the past with previous directors and managers, etc. We're in a new phase, aren't we? We've got a new director, we've got a new programmer, and the venue's about to launch. When is this happening? When are you announcing your program?
So if all goes to plan, we'll have a really good idea of everything on Monday, and we'll start releasing tickets then. Hopefully that'll see us from the end of May until June and July, doing some socially distant shows, and then we'll take a bit of a break over August, and then go full steam ahead from September with live music every weekend.
for people who know the venue already, who've been coming in over the years in the past, there's been a lot of changes in the building, hasn't it? So a lot of people who've come previously are now coming back effectively to a new venue. Tell us some of the changes that have happened.
Yeah, so it sort of all came about because we got some of the grassroots live music funding. So we had a pot of money to develop the space. So the old parquet floor underneath the brown carpet tiles, that's been restored. We've installed the lighting rig, PA, we've got some proper staging. And I think generally it's a much nicer, more welcoming space than it was. And, you know, musicians can come and sort of plug in and play rather than, you know, you coming in as a technician and spending a couple of hours setting it all up and then a couple of hours afterwards breaking it down. So,
well, obviously, yeah. I am biased completely, but it is an amazing space. You've just mentioned the parquet flooring there. It was really horrible 1970s carpet tiles, wasn't it? They've been there 30 years and they've been like on and all really horrible. And remove that flooring, and then all this parquet flooring was there, which was beautiful. You've completely restored that. All the bits that were a bit dodgy underneath have been restored, and it is now really lovely to look at and experience. The PA is obviously permanent, so it's flown. The lighting rig is flown. So as you alluded to there previously, we used to have to set up. It used to take hours getting equipment down from upstairs or putting it back upstairs afterwards. We don't have to do that now. It's all there.
Have you put yourself out of a job, Kieran?
In a manner, kind of. No, not at all. Because what we've actually done is made the venue more usable and easier, and so much easier for people just to rock up. If a band are bringing their own technician, it's all there. It is so user friendly. You know exactly where everything is. It's all in the corner. It's self-explanatory, really. So yeah, any engineer could just tip up on the fly and be able to work that venue now. So I think we've done quite a good job setting it up for that purpose.
Yeah, hopefully it means that, you know, other promoters and yourself will be coming to us and saying, I want to put this band on. You know, it's really easy for us to say, yes, please do. That'd be amazing.
What's the capacity of the new music room?
So when all is well and we're at full capacity, we'd be looking at 120 maximum. So it'll still be intimate. And socially distanced, we're looking at a smaller 33.
A substantial 33.
But it'll be a really special event for those 33 people who get to see it.
Of course it will. It's going to be an amazing experience. So, but it's not just music that the town hall does, is it? Your new programme isn't just music, it's other things as well. I understand you've got a cinema coming. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we also got some funding to develop our supper room upstairs into a community cinema space. We've been doing it in a similar to the way we used to do the live music, that we'd set it up and break it down, and it would be a huge thing to be able to do it every weekend. But now the equipment will be in place. So the plan is to have a sort of community cinema every Friday, live music every Saturday, and, you know, maybe we'll build on that if it's, you know, well received.
I have no doubt it's going to be well received. The cinema did really well before. Obviously, you've still got the rest of the week to programme lovely things in, like comedy. I know that's going to be hot on the high on the profile. Yeah,
comedy is a thing to mention. We're hoping to launch this sort of mini socially distanced season with a bank holiday weekend festival at the end of May, which should see some live music out in the sensory garden behind the town hall. And then in the evening, coming in for some, you know, really high quality stand up. We've got Gavin Osborne on board. He's sort of big in sort of the comedy world. He's got all the contacts. So he's going to bring us some really great people.
Jess, you don't sound too convinced about that.
Well, I've got a bit of an issue with sort of stand up that I don't find it that funny.
Oh, really?
So
do you not watch comedy on TV? Like, I don't know, Live at the Apollo. Does that not do it for you?
No, I just wouldn't watch it. I think the fear of there being an awkward silence and a joke not being well received makes me sort of feel
Anxious.
sorry for them in advance that it's not going to go well. So I just don't put myself in that position.
I had no idea, Jess. It's going to be brilliant. Don't worry. It's going to be fantastic.
I don't doubt it. I have, full faith in Gavin and his abilities. I'm sure everyone else but me will really enjoy it.
That's absolutely incredible.
What's your ideal gig? Are you more about the music? Are you more about other events?
Live music's kind of my thing. I'm not musically talented really myself, so I bask in the glory of what everyone else can do. My goal in life is to have a venue of my own. Being a gig goer, you pick up on things from venues that you possibly don't enjoy, and that's something I'm trying to put into the town hall. Is what are the good things about going to a gig, and trying to expand on that rather than focusing on the areas that are less enjoyable.
I suppose one of the advantages of wanting your own venue and being in your position is that you've got a venue, but it's not yours. But you've got free reign to do what you like with it. That's the ideal situation.
Yeah, it's odd because when our director came in, David, he sort of said to me, "Oh, what's your 10-year plan?" I explained, music venue. And he said, "Do you think that could be here?" I said, "No, never in a million years. This room, the courtroom, the old court, is not an environment where you'd go and watch a band. But we've made it that way." So he proved me wrong, and I'm really excited to bring some live music into the town hall.
One final thing, if people want to find out what's happening at Trowbridge Town Hall, how do they go about that? I guess there's a website. Is there any other means of finding out?
Yeah, so we'll be launching our new website on Monday the 12th, fingers crossed. That's just trowbridgetownhall.com. Then you'll find us on all social media platforms, Trowbridge Town Hall. We try and update everything regularly, so you get a good idea of what's coming up.
I was in there last night, Jess. I went to go check on some equipment, and I did see some of the new signage. It looks amazing.
Yeah, a bit more colour in the building, which would be really lovely. Make it a bit more welcoming, and instead of going into the police officer's room, you'll go into the zero waste shop.
Yes. Okay, Jess, right. You've picked a song for us, haven't you?
Yes, I've picked The Worried Men doing their spin on Like a Hurricane by Neil Young.
Why have you picked this song?
I think The Worried Men are really, really great. I think I've seen them live more than any other band. Jamie is the guitarist, and he's just incredible. Probably the reason I picked up a guitar myself. And my aim is to learn this song. So, watch him play guitar and see how difficult that is, and don't hold me to it because, yeah.
Well, what we're going to do, Jess, now is obviously we're going to get the Worried Men in to perform, and then they're going to get you up as a guest to play that one track.
Gosh, they probably would as well. They do like
of course
to make
they would.
a show out of it.
Right, we're going to make that happen, and you're going to thoroughly enjoy it. I have no doubt. That was the Worry Men with a track called Hurricane, which was did you say it was a Neil Young cover?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not. Obviously, I know Neil Young, but I'm not familiar with that particular.
I think I've properly lost Kieran. This will be the first time I've actually lost you on a Zoom call, Kieran. Come back to me if you can. Oh, and Kieran's got the blue screen of death. Well, what I will do while I'm waiting for Kieran to reappear is give you the email address, shareisolation@gmail.com. That's the email address to get in touch with us if you want to send us some tracks, send us some tunes, send us some news. If you don't want to go back and listen to any of our previous shows, or if you like some of the tunes that we play, you can find everything that we've done on YouTube. We've got a complete library of all of our shows and a playlist which lists every track we have ever played on all 50 shows. We are also available on several of the main podcasting channels. So if you want to go back and listen to us at any time, that is where you find us. Kieran is now going to rejoin from his mobile phone, I believe. And there we were worried that it was going to be your Wi-Fi that was going to give up on us, not the entire machine.
No, yeah, exactly. And the entire machine went. So
the joys of Zooming. Have you got any news this week, Kieran?
No.
One story that keeps popping up in the news is about these COVID passports for venues, and that has been popping up again in the last week or so, about having some kind of paperwork or some kind of app on your phone before you're let into nightclubs and venues. What is your... I know we've kind of covered this before, but now with a bit more information about what we know, what do you think is going to... Can you predict for us, or what do you think would be the most logical step out of this?
Well, so I did watch Boris's announcement on TV, and he basically said, long story short, passports potentially for big events. So that might well be festivals, it could be arena shows, it could be sporting events, anything large scale. They did effectively say that pubs and restaurants were exempt. So that's going to cover a significant proportion of the UK's entertainment spaces. They are going to be passport free. So I'm not a fan of the passports as a concept, if I'm honest, but that might go into more political ideology rather than anything. I just with the events, the cost will obviously come down onto the punter, to the customer. And I just think that's another layer of costs that's going to make music harder for people to access. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of about restricting access to things. So I'm kind of really anti the idea. I understand why they're suggesting it, just not a fan of it. But we'll see. But with any luck, it won't affect the venues that I work with, like Moles, like the Neils, like the Vic in Swindon, like Town Hall. It won't affect those venues. So we're going to be all right.
Cool. One other question that I'm just going to throw at you, because in my mind, you are the knowledge of all things in relation to COVID-related live music performancing. Does this mean that we could have live music bandstand style, or is that still not allowed?
I don't think it's the 17th of May, I think, from memory, but that in theory will be allowed, yes. I did say earlier in the podcast that there are quite some stringent guidelines on what's constituted indoors and outdoors, because there is this fear about people chucking up marquees, saying it's outside the building, crack on. But because of various things being sided and potentially effectively creating an indoor area, there are some very stringent rules. So I think we're going to see music almost certainly. We're definitely going to see some low capacity indoor stuff.
Isn't you mentioned 17th of May? Isn't that the day that venues are allowed to start at half capacity, or is that another point in the roadmap?
Yeah, that's exactly that what you just said. It's when venues are allowed to start doing half capacity. So yeah, I think that's when live music is allowed to return, as it were.
Right. We will leave it at that then, Kieran. I think.
Thank you, John.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
So
Always a pleasure. Take care.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.